I'm going to talk about how young people can be taken serious at a massive business table, let's say. I mean, most of my friends are in their 60s that have businesses that make them hundreds of millions of dollars a year or worth billions of dollars. And I'm saying this as a fact. Why is it that they take me seriously as a peer and not as just some little kid because I'm 22 years old? And this is a very important psychological shift. If I'm closing these people as clients, that they see me as a peer and not as a little kid. So this is a really, really important video if you want to work with whale clients that are substantially bigger, especially if you're a young guy. So first off, people notice what they see at first. If you carry yourself like you're young, immature, and naive, you will be treated that way. I mean, if I wore a grill, had a big fat chain on, was wearing a white tee, and had face tattoos, you would make different assumptions about me. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. So the way that you carry yourself actually matters. Unless you have $100 million in your bank account, it matters how you present yourself. And it matters how you walk with confidence. I mean, this stuff matters. And every single one of these large business owners, they can sense the innate confidence in someone. The second thing is you have to believe in what you're doing and have a sense of integrity. When you say things, you have to believe what you say. If you are saying things and taking it back, let me just give you an example that most people do with women. They will be talking to a girl and say, yeah, I really like chicken, let's say. And the girl says, yeah, I don't really like chicken. And then instantly the guy takes back his answer. He's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't really like chicken. It's not my favorite. I actually really like something else instead. They don't stick to what they say. That is a pussy. And whether you like it or not, if you are not respected in these rooms, no one is going to do business with you. The third thing is actually having a lot of knowledge on whatever field that you are talking about. So this is incredibly frequent. I am at a business dinner with 60-year-old guys that run companies bigger than, small countries' net worths. And they are asking me questions because they want to hear my input, because I have a very specialized knowledge on a subject that they care about and they are interested in. That is insane, right? Why should they care what I have to say? And why would they then want to do business with me? One, you have to speak with confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself. And I didn't start off this way. When I first started off in these rooms, and I got there because I actually got this guy's logo tattooed on my leg, flew across the country, asked him for a job, and eventually started working for him, and then finding a way into every single room that he would go to with higher net worth people where I could learn from them. And I was just a sponge and trying to obtain as much information as humanly possible. And I would pick up things and I would ask questions and I would be hyper intent. That one of the other things is people want to talk about themselves, especially when you're hyper interested in what they're saying. So when I would talk to someone who was running a business and I was genuinely curious about what they were saying and asking incredible questions because I was actually curious and they could tell that I was listening, they were happy to tell me answers. That happened over and over and over again. And that turned into a lot of mutual respect, as well as they respected me for continuously hustling and finding a way into the rooms. But eventually, when I was growing and I would get into these rooms and I was no longer going in there from just trying to learn as much as possible, but actually closing some massive deals, you have to be able to speak the same language as them. And this is going to sound crazy, but super, super rich people, they have a different language. And it's true. You have to understand all the terminology. If I'm in, one of my clients is in real estate and he has 10,000 apartments. When I'm in the room with him, we are not talking broad real estate terms. You are talking in depth of a completely different lingo. When I'm in the room with them, we are talking very, very high level. So I have to be able to understand that. For everything. The financial language is just slightly different, and it is like learning a new language. There's tons of terminology that you have to understand. And when I'm closing these deals, the way that I do it is I just have an extreme amount of confidence and certainty that I can help someone. And I've never took on a client that I couldn't help. Therefore, whenever I take on a client, they get exceptional results and they tell their friends. And most of these older people, they want to help younger entrepreneurs. A lot of people think that these business owners are just super greedy, evil old men. From my experience, that could not be further from the truth. They actually really want to help pass on their information or work with people that are starting out, as long as they are getting the service that they need. And so I help super large businesses grow their organic social media with the intent of helping them monetize it. But because I work with some of the largest business owners, I get to hang out with all their friends and then all their friends' friends. And I just became a super networker where a lot of my buddies that are mega wealthy joke around saying that I have the best network in the entire world. And I would completely agree with that. The next thing is the psychology of how you treat them. I treat these people like a peer and not a person that's above me, where a lot of people will put mega successful guys that run super large companies on a pedestal. And when you put someone on a pedestal, they are going to treat you like a fan. This is very, very common knowledge when it comes to dating, let's say, but it's not when it comes to hyper successful men that run massive companies. And I see this with a lot of my clients. People at their company will laugh at their own funny jokes the same way beta orbiters will laugh at unfunny jokes from women that are, let's say, super hot. They just completely suck up to them because everyone is a leech when people have money. And I genuinely don't give a fuck. I want to have a mutualistic relationship. And when you treat someone like a peer, they treat you like a peer. Imagine that. Another thing is you have to establish authority without bragging. This is why I genuinely would not give a fuck about getting a $200,000 watch or a Lamborghini, where that's what I see most young people do the second they start to make a bit of money. They lease the Lamborghini. It makes no fucking sense, at least for what I'm doing. I work with very large business owners. They do not find that cool at all. That is because a few $100,000 is not impressive, and genuinely speaking. It's also kind of douchey, and they see it as braggadocious and douchey. It is not cool in the circles that I'm in. It is cool for a 25-year-old who made their first $1 million. It's not, most of these guys, they want to stay low key because there's a lot of risks when you have a ton of money. So actually, most of the wealthiest guys that I know, they drive very comfortable and luxurious cars, but not super, super flashy. They have the flashy cars, but I honestly never see them drive them. And so you have to build authority by actually having a deep knowledge base upon what you're talking about. If you don't really understand what you're saying, shut the fuck up and listen to them. That's why people listen to me when I'm at these tables, because I can actually give them very strategic advice as to what their pain points are only on particular subjects. If it's not on that subject, I shut the fuck up and listen. And I know my place. But I'm also going to stick to what I say when I'm talking about the things that I really know. Because I genuinely, if I think that I'm right, I am not going to just suck up and leech off these people that everyone else does. I'm going to stand my ground. And what is counterintuitive to what most people think is they respect that more than anything else, because everybody sucks up to them. If you stand your ground and tell them what you actually think, you have authority and they actually believe in what you're saying. And this is the same thing if you read a lot of, let's say, the online dating coaches, they say to do the exact same thing with women. And so I always say that dating a super, super attractive woman and a very high value woman is very similar to going in business with a hyper successful guy who is running a very large business, because both people treat each other the same way. People treat super hot women the same way they treat very, very successful businessmen. I mean, these are just a few of the things, and if I thought about it, I could really, really compartmentalize everything, but it's really, really a weird dynamic. And I really do not say this to brag at all, but it is blatantly clear when I'm out, because all my friends are 50 to 60. So all their kids are actually my age or older. But when we're all out, I am sitting at the big boy table and I'm treated substantially differently than everyone else. But it's because of the way that I carry myself and the way that I treat them. And it's really, really an interesting psychological phenomenon, but it's very, very important for, I think, other people to learn if they are trying to do similar things, especially in business. It's so, so, so important.